Okay, I'm back with Mal Cope. We are here on a delightful, it's not a delightful day, is it?
Well.
And today we're going to have a bit of a chat about excitement or arousal on the golf course, how emotions can affect us, but maybe how we can control them and use the physiology to help us play better golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So welcome back to the channel. If you do subscribe already, thank you very much. If you don't, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, because you won't then miss out on any more juicy content like these conversations with Mal. So we're back out on the golf course, or we're stood admiring our lovely view. Nobody playing still because we're bang in the middle of lockdown, but a good opportunity for us to help you with your golf, not necessarily physical, but with the mental side of the game over the next few weeks with some brilliant content planned. So thanks again for that, Mal, and thanks for coming along.
Problem.
Towards the end of the last session we spoke about emotion. I mentioned Tyrrell Hatton. He seemed to have been able to control his emotions a little bit, and we discussed how a bad shot could be logged into the memory bank the wrong way, and how emotions could be maybe a little bit negative. Today we're going to have a chat about how you can control those emotions and put them to good use on the golf course. Sort of put yourself in a different state. Mal's promised me I'll be able to hit the ball further after this session, so quite excited about that one. If you've got any questions for us, by the way, make sure you comment below. We are going to dedicate a whole episode to your Q&As, so we're not ignoring the questions so far. We get some great feedback, Mal. I know you're reading the comments and it's great to see, so thank you very much for that. But talk to me a little bit about turning me on.
Okay.
So it's not a cuddle, I'm hoping.
No, not in these times.
Social distance.
Okay, so we talked about the emotions and the effect that they'll have on your memory bank, like we just said, and picking up cues from the course. But they also change your physiological state. We'll recognise, every golfer out there will probably recognise the top level, the frustration level, the anger level, and what those states do is the increased heart rate. People will recognise sweaty hands, over gripping the club too much, and the like. You've also got the complete reverse, which is almost fast asleep, the lower levels of arousal that haven't really woken up yet. But it's the other one that most people talk about, and everybody assumes that we should all walk around with Dustin Johnson's heart rate and nothing should really bother us. But
what you talk about there, so Dustin, very calm, very cool, very collected. I tell people, look, try and remain calm, stay calm. I mean, one problem with that is when you say someone stay calm, that makes them anxious.
It usually makes them anxious.
But also, that's not necessarily correct. That might work for Dustin Johnson. He might play his best golf when he's in that state of mind or frame of mind, whereas Poltz, for example, an extrovert, he seems to thrive off people. Look at him raising the crowds. And
there's loads of studies out there, and it's proven that an extrovert will perform better at a real high level of arousal, and an introvert will do exactly the reverse. They'll perform better when they're at a low level of arousal, whereas golf is all just assumed that that's what you should do. But we're all different. For the geeks out there like me, there's something called the Yerkes-Dodson law, which is a performance curve.
Expecting you to spell that for me, Wishy.
Pretty much what that says is your level of performance will get better with your levels of arousal up to a point, and then you'll fall off the other side.
If I'm too excited,
it's going
to go bad. If I'm just at the right level of excitement, for me,
for you,
it'll be pretty good. But if I'm not turned on,
if you're not turned
on at all, I can't perform.
No,
that's a different story.
So people will recognise
another channel.
People will recognise the falling over the other side of the curve when you take levels of arousal so far that it almost reaches anxiety, which people will recognise it's one of the main causes attributed to choking, which is not being able to perform tasks that routinely you would do without thinking about it. But there is the complete reverse. There is the low levels of arousal where and this is one of the key areas I think that particular amateur golfers tend to fall down on. You'll see a lot of guys that just turn up here, tee off at roughly the same time, go through the motions. By the fourth hole, it's pretty much done and dusted. But they haven't really woken themselves up yet. They might have a process in their mind, which is to do certain things.
But then they might also be thinking, I'm not supposed to. They might be thinking, well, I'm supposed to stay a bit non.
Well,
but they're not. It's what's right for them.
It's what's right for them, and the best way to tell what's right for you is to, at times when you're doing things well, and at times when you're doing things badly, just be aware of what state you're in. So, looking at the doing things badly, because that's what people will recognise more than anything.
So when you've played that bad shot, were you dozy and sleepy with it, or were you really that wound up? What caused the bad shot?
That's it. The bad shot. Did you just go through the motions in effect on your tee shot, or whatever shot it may be? Did you think afterwards, I didn't think that would go into the bunker?
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah,
I've played shots myself where I've hit it and gone, I can't believe I've even done that.
Yeah.
And it feels like it happens in slow motion.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not in there at all. You need to, for whatever length of time your process is, you need to be intense in that process. You need to switch on and be focused for that process. People will hear things in the background and they'll blame other people from 3 fairways away or whatever.
Yeah.
But we play golf in an open environment.
Yeah, you can't.
So they'll always be there. They've only got any life if you give them any life, and if you're focused in on your task, then you won't even hear them.
Right.
So the key for me in there is, because there was a time when it was thought that the brain couldn't do 2 things at once. It can do 2 things, can't do 3, but it can do 2 things. But what it does is it's only got 1 power output.
Right.
If you try and do 2 things, it has to split that power output.
Yeah.
So in effect, whatever task you were doing, you're doing with half power, because the other half of your power is gone across over there.
Okay.
But it's your own fault. And that's the key for me in this, is it's your own fault that you've let that distract you because you weren't focused enough on this task that you're doing. And once you accept that, once you accept that, then these things don't matter anymore. Because if you accept that you're the one that caused it, people don't like to blame themselves.
No.
They're all right at blaming other people.
Yeah, I missed that putt. I only had a 2-footer, but I could hear him chatting over there 4 fairways away. I mean, you've got some
Well, you
hearing.
shouldn't have heard him, because you should be in your 10 seconds of you, the ball, the task, nothing else for 10 seconds. You could drive a train behind you and you wouldn't know what's going on.
Or somebody can walk up and jingle their coins next to me. Shouldn't be able to listen to that.
Shouldn't be able to do it. It's only you letting that distract you. And when it's your fault, then actually you start to notice that these things don't distract you.
Tell me how then I've realised that, for example, I've gone through a process and gone, when I played my best golf, I've been quite excited. I'm an excitable character. So on a day where it's a bit wet and a bit cold and miserable and I don't really feel like it, how can I change my state upwards? How can I turn that volume up for me?
Right, okay. Well, the first thing is, it's brilliant that you've recognised it. Yeah. Because that's the first thing.
I've been listening to Mal Coates.
Everybody will talk about mindfulness at the moment and being in the present and so on and so on. Well, that's the first thing that you've done, is bring yourself into the present, because you've said, my physiological state here is not where I want it to be. I want to move it up or down one way or the other. So that's brilliant, because you're in the moment. That's the first thing. So if you decide that you want to take it up a level, so 2 things. You first of all look at your levels of attention and focus. So whatever your process is, make sure that you're giving that your full 100%. So Louis Oosthuizen used to talk about, when he put his glove on, he'd have a red dot there.
I remember
and when he saw that red dot, that was all he could see for that. So he was in there for 10 seconds.
He wasn't open with that red dot.
Yeah, he did. And he put a lot down to it as well, didn't he? So that brings your focus of attention in there. Then the next element to it is, well, what can I do physiologically to myself? So you start thinking about maybe the long drive guys. They pump themselves up, don't they? They take lots of short, quick breaths. Their practice swings
Yeah,
they look like they're going to hurt, don't they? They really do. They pump themselves up in there. They'll have something in their mind's eye that is like a violent explosion or something. About 100 metres, guys setting off at the gun, something like that. Something that really fires you up. And you can start to change your physiological state. You can increase your heart rate through those short breaths and things like that. You want to go the reverse.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've pumped myself up, I can hit the ball further. It'd be interesting to take this into the studio at some point in a future episode and measure that, hit a few shots of a relaxed state with the driver, hit a few shots with an aroused state with the driver.
How quickly you can get into that state.
Yeah, we'll do that definitely in a future episode.
Because if you can find, you know, your average driver, whatever, average miles per hour, 100 mile an hour. For, if you can find 5 more mile an hour in there, that's 15 yards, isn't it?
Anyone fancy 15 yards from cycling themselves up? Well, you've got to establish whether you do need to psych yourself up. So someone out there who says, actually, no, I perform better when I'm dialed down a bit, or I've just played a bad shot and I can feel that anxiety building. Before they play the next shot in that walk to the ball, what should they do? So
it's all probably easier, I think, and I think you can change your heart rate quicker to bring it down than you can maybe to speed it up, but that'll be interesting to see. But certainly to pull it down, you've got lots of breathing exercises that you can do, a lot of ratio breathing if people want to look that up. It's really simple, but it's really, really effective. You can do progressive muscle relaxation where you really tense and squeeze your muscles for a period of 4 or 5 seconds and then let them relax. And you'd be surprised at how loose and floppy that feels after that. And you can do the breathing and the muscle relax just walking down the fairway, chatting to your partners. They don't even need to know you're doing it. So all these things you can do, and you're starting to make changes to your body because you want to, rather than your previous shot. Imagine it's different for different sports. So there's some obvious ones, aren't there? Like sort of if you want a boxer or an archer, they need to be in a different. They want to be in different states. But we can bring the same thing into our game. Totally. So if you've got a long carry over water, you want to be up there, don't you? Yeah, exactly. But then you've got a slippery downhill 10-foot putt left to right.
Well, that's interesting you've highlighted there, because 2 sports you mentioned, boxing versus archery. One would be requiring a nice steady movement, one would be golf requires everything, doesn't it? This is one part of the beauty of the game. You could have a 300-yard drive and then you could have a nice little deft flop shot to play over a bunker. And it's been able to acknowledge what state you need to be in and then control that state yourself.
Absolutely. And the key benefit being the fact that you've recognised it, you're in the present there again. The more you can practice actually making the physiological changes, the better. But the main benefit is the fact that you've recognised it.
Brilliant, Mal. Enlightening stuff yet again. Good. Couple of takeaways from today. Realise where you perform best. Realise at what state you perform best on the golf course. and then learn how to control it. Learn how to, by breathing techniques or pumping yourself up or whatever it might be, that muscle relaxant technique as well. You know, things like that will help you control your state to play your best golf.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are things that you can do that are easy. You know, golf's quite hard, isn't it? The actual active hitting the ball and playing golf. Yeah, it's
pretty tricky golf.
Don't make it any harder by other things that you can have a good level of control over.
Brilliant. I hope you're enjoying this content, guys. We really appreciate you tuning in. Give us a little thumbs up, and like I said, we are going to be doing a nice Q&A vid. Mal's also told me about some exciting videos we've got coming up in the next few weeks, so if you are a subscriber, great. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on these. Mal's also got a couple more giveaways which we'll chat about in the next few weeks as well, and it's just about spending some time before we get back playing golf out there, hopefully, learning about things that will make that more enjoyable, because I know we're all going to be anxious to get out on the golf course. It's going to be exciting. We want that first tee shot to fly down the middle. But what Mal's helping us do is, well, if it doesn't, don't worry. We can get it right and you'll still enjoy your game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Take care. Look after yourselves. We'll see you all very soon.
Cool.
Thanks, Mal.